This is Gateway City Sports.
It's a trap!
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
Everything you want to hear from the big sports to the big screen.
He's all by himself, fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No! Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
He doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Time winding down. Michael for three. Yes! She is gone!
I can't believe what I just saw!
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
You believe in miracles? Yes!
You may fire when ready.
What?
Cardinals fans, welcome to the Team of Rivals podcast. It's Thursday, August 17th. I got to tell you, I almost didn't do the show tonight. I had told Elliot and Ron that I was in, and I was feeling kind of tired. I was ready to just call it. I was just going to say, you know what, I'm out. You guys do it. I'm going to bed. But then I saw the opportunity to relish the fact that I was right. I was right last week. Almost 100%, but I was right last week. I said this time, a week later, the Cardinals would be 9 games back. And as I was checking the scoreboard, I saw that they were working hard to make it come true. And just in time for us to hit record, the Cardinals dropped one to the Mets, and they are 9 games behind the Cubs. So thank you to the St. Louis Cardinals for giving me the extra motivation to get on tonight and record this week's show. You can follow us on social media, Team of Rivals Pod, or find us online at teamofrivalspodcast.com. For those of you who prefer to watch the show, we occasionally post live to YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. So hit the like and subscribe buttons and be sure that notifications are on so that you know anytime we post new content. You can find more great podcasts and blog content on the Gateway City Sports Network, where we are proud members. Joining me for this week's show, co-founder of TOR and number 125 in the 2022 edition of C70's Top Guards on Twitter, Ron Nuttall. And he's back again, our permanent occasional guest host, Elliot Dewey. Boys, there's not a whole lot to talk about. The Cardinals stink. The Cubs continue to be in. Yes, we'll talk about the walk-off, I'm sure, because what an ending. But I was thinking about something as I was walking around the last couple of days, and I got to ask you guys this. Actually, Ron, this one's for you.
Can't wait.
The Cubs are big on cult players, right? The guys who are the one year wonder, right? And it's because their developmental structure has been just so piss poor over the years. I mean, you think about guys like, as you can go back, well, I mean, obviously this year it's the summer of Mike Tauchman. I'd be surprised if he continues to repeat this, especially given his age. So, you know, so he's the cult player, right? He's the one that the Cubs fans have seized on this year. Last year it was Frank the Tank. In the past, we've had, Augie Ojeda.
Does Jerome Walton fall into that category?
No, I don't think so. Because,
or was he expected? He was, yeah.
More.
Okay. All right.
And he stayed with the team, right? Not saying that like Tauchman's going to necessarily be gone next year. But like a 1 year.
Yeah, but he has to be to keep the tradition going.
Well, yeah, you're right.
All right.
1 year, flash in the pan. Mm-hmm. Augie Ojeda, it wasn't like he was lighting up the world, but Cubs fans just latched on to him for that 1 year that he was with the Cubs. You obviously are going to know this better than I do. Do the Cardinals have cult players like that? No, they just develop weird names and bring them up.
No,
yes.
I'm trying to, you've got me kind of going through the inventory of rosters year over year, and I just don't know of many. I mean, there are two guys that I can think of when you think of the head, maybe maybe he had something like that going for a very brief period of time, I would go to Joe McEwing, who's a bench coach for him now. Fans loved him, I think, just because he played really hard. Bo Hart would be another one, again, guy with a strange name.
There you go.
And I'm not sure that his performance did this, but I would say Stubby Clapp by name. I think he fell short of a cult following. I really think you had guys like Bo Hart, Joe McEwing that might have had it. Man, those were really brief. I mean, those were true one-hit wonders, and I'm wondering if they were really even hits or if they just like their hustle. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Cubs do produce a lot of those. Yeah, you're right. It's a very good observation by you, Pete. Now the Cardinals really don't. They don't have. No, I couldn't. I couldn't compare the two.
The market, and I don't know if it's if it's a market inefficiency, is the names like Elliot. I can't think of a Cubs player who has had like. Yeah, you can go back to the early 1900s, right?
Yeah.
Mordecai, Three Finger Brown, overall, right? Like, but since then, the names are pretty even. Even some of the Hispanic names or or their Asian players, the names are pretty straightforward. You don't have guys like Stubby Clapp, Lars Nootbaar, and still coming, right? Who's your top pitching prospect right now?
Tink Hence. Yeah, and I tell you what, Pete, I'm going to throw one at you that you probably forget about, and I forget about it from time to time. Not that long ago. I mean, long ago for our Gen Z crowd, but Coco Crisp.
Coco Crisp?
Yeah.
Came up in the St. Louis organization, traded him for Chuck Finley in 2002.
I would love to know what it is about your team that you guys have all the names.
I don't know. You would expect to see some of these guys on like late 70s baseball cards, right? Like these are the kind of names that fit that kind of thing. I don't know. It is strange. This
would actually be, I think, it could be a fun weekend beer drinking game, is thinking of what each organization should be known for. Like right now, the Toronto Blue Jays are clearly the nepotism team. If you think about Kevin Biggio, Vlad Jr.,
Bo Bichette,
got at least, Bo Bichette. There's at least one other, right? Like all these kids of former major leaguers on their roster.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so there you go.
Pete, you kind of forget another cult Cubby that ended up being the manager. David Ross became kind of a cult player, and he was only there for the 15 and 16 years.
Tuffy Rhodes.
Yeah, that's another good one. I mean, I think, gosh, I'm going through and the guys I rattled off they were like brief September appearances or, very limited. Gosh, a guy that spent a very short amount of time with the Cardinals that had sort of a cult following. They still love him today. Whenever he does.
Only had like one really effective year.
Well,
right? It can't be somebody who, and that's why, like, what made me think about it really was watching, and this, I guess this will bring us into actual present day stuff. What made me think about it actually was watching the walk-off last night and thinking about Christopher Morel. And I think that if he had the year that he had last year and then had a fall off, he would have qualified for that.
Yeah.
But you're seeing growth in him. It seems pretty clear that Christopher Morel is going to have a major league career. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar or anything, but this doesn't seem like a one-off kind of thing.
I mean, he's kind of got that utility type thing going for him too, which I think guys can extend a little bit farther when they're able to do that. They might not have found a spot in those teams of the 2000 when the utility guy really was. I think Ben Zobrist is really the one that was advertised as being the cool thing to do, right? When he was able to.
Well, he was the one I think who changed the image of the utility guy, right?
Yeah.
It used to be the utility infielder was that one defensive guy that you had on the roster who could play every position and contributed defensively. But
and you throw him in late in a game or something, right? I think Doug DeCenzo was limited, right? He was a center fielder, but he was kind of that just in the outfield. You had the secret weapon, as Whitey Herzog called him, Jose Oquendo, was very good at that, right? He could play just about anywhere, and he did one year. He actually played all 9 positions. It just wasn't the cool thing, and not saying Ben Zobrist is the coolest guy in the world. You guys know him better than me, but he did bring a, dare I say, prestige to that utility role that really hadn't been there before. He was really good, and
and that's, I think, what brought the prestige, right? That the bat actually carried.
No, he had, at times would have been like an all-star level bat, right? And you could play him just about anywhere, and that really hadn't been a thing before. I'm sure it was a thing somewhere at various points in time in history, but I think Ben Zobrist is the one that brought a lot of attention to it, and that really started it. And that was his days with Tampa Bay, and of course, Kansas City, and then Chicago. Till his wife left him.
That whore.
We haven't said that word on here very often, but there we go.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't think it's alleged.
No, I don't think it's alleged anymore.
I think they admitted it.
Pete, I love having conversations like this in a shitty year. My son was at the game tonight. I'm sure I told him.
Boy.
I told him, I'm like, every time Goldschmidt came up, and I did have it on tonight. Every time Goldschmidt would come up, he'd text me like, "Don't watch," because I never, swear to God, and I don't. It's pure coincidence, right? There's no voodoo here. That guy never gets a hit when I watch him, especially like live. And no shit, I took Braden to a game earlier this year. I turned my back to home plate when he was up single. And you can ask him.
Watching there where he took a strike on the black to end the
game. He never gets a hit when I'm watching.
Hey, if Braden was at the game, did you tell him to pick up a Nutty Buddy and try to get him to pass it to the Cardinals dugout so they could hand that over to Lars? You don't drop like that, taking one off the off the family jewels if you're not wearing a cup.
You'd be surprised, man. I didn't happen often, but it's still like that thing is not a force field, right? Like you're still going to. It's still going to make some contact. I mean, it's going to be way less severe. It's still pretty painful if you get hit there. And I played first base a lot, as well as outfield, and there were at least one or two that I recall that came up and got me a little bit. Now, I don't think it was during a game. It's still pretty painful.
Were you wearing a Nutty Buddy?
No, I was wearing that shit they used to sell back in the 90s no.
Exactly.
But
you should have slipped them a Nutty Buddy.
I still think there's some pain there. And have you guys seen it's usually on like Instagram Reels or something like that there'll be a play like in a major sport and this guy does a voiceover like an announcer, but he makes it funny, right? I'd have to go find it. I don't want to look for it. But women's softball, I'm assuming it's like College World Series or something, but a catcher just took one right off the crotch, and all you hear him go is, "Oh, right off the patty melt." And I fucking died. I just have never heard that description before. It was hilarious, and I had to go back and listen to it probably 13 times just to process it.
I don't know if you were on and listening, Ron, when Elliot and I were talking about it before the show, but did you see what the IL designation is for Lars?
Go ahead and tell me. I can guess probably 100 different things.
Lower abdomen contusion. That's what it is.
Lower abdomen contusion. Okay, fine. Don't call it what it is then. I mean, there's only it must be like an Excel with just so many things you can check.
Out with a broke dick.
Yeah. Lars is going to be out for 10-day injured list. He has a bruised shaft. And why can't you just call it that? It's extremely painful.
I know that you. I can't imagine that you missed it. I'm sure you saw the highlights of last night's Cubs win.
No,
you didn't.
No, I did not.
Okay, well, I would say that.
I'm sorry, I almost choked. No, I did not see the highlights in the Cubs win.
You need to look it up. So in case you missed it,
I probably won't. But just tell me about it.
The Cubs were on the verge of getting
swept
badly.
Swept, right?
Getting swept by the White Sox, right?
Two game sweep, yeah.
Yeah, they had a bad loss on Tuesday.
Oh, did they get caught up in that what do they call it? The natural rivalry or whatever, the bullshit that they force on us every year.
These were games 3 and 4. The Cubs had obviously already swept them at Comiskey. And I don't know about you, Elliot. I thought that game was over.
I did. I mean, Mike Clevenger pitched probably the best game that he's pitched all fucking season. Yep. And he's painting the lines, and he was getting some calls, 3 inches off the plate. But
yeah, okay, good. Yeah, I was gonna say painting the lines. I don't know. He had some behind the plate.
Who was back there? Was it CB Buckner or was it?
I wish it was Angel Hernandez so I could blame it on him, but I mean, they had plenty of opportunities to score. I mean, two guys on with no outs, and they, strike out, pop out, ground out, and it gets to the eighth inning, and it was the eighth inning or the seventh inning when Fulmer got Quaz out of that pickle.
It was the eighth inning.
Quas loaded the bases. He hit a guy, single, walked a guy. So nobody outs, 3 guys on. Fulmer comes in, and half Cubs fans will groan, but the other half knows that, hey, he's been pitching pretty well. And he damn near throws an immaculate inning, strikes out the side. Pete, I'll let you take the rest.
So then Nick Madrigal comes in, pinch hit, home run into the basket, makes it 3-1 run. And this is where
I hope you guys get to the point here real quick. Is everything's getting soft on me right now?
Bottom of the ninth, Bellinger leads off with a double. Dansby Swanson walks. Christopher Morel comes up, looks stupid on the first 2 pitches, and then on a 1-2 count, sends one into the bleachers, and the place fucking loses it. And I mean, regardless of how you feel about the Cubs and Christopher Morel, if you want to see pure, unadulterated joy, find the highlights of that.
Oh, I just go back and watch Barry Bonds highlights if I want to see pure, unadulterated joy and happiness while you're playing.
No, I mean actual joy. The look on his face as he's sprinting around the bases, it reminds you of a kid playing baseball. It really does. It reminds you of that kid in Little League hitting a walk-off home run. What he just
that's all very heartwarming. It's all very heartwarming.
He throws his helmet off. He's coming around third. He pulls his jersey off, and he's just running with his arms wide open to everybody standing at home plate. Just pounds on home plate, and they just gets his shirt ripped off. And goddamn, Morel is beef.
Damn, Elliot. Have you ever seen him so turned on like in the last 20 seconds when he was talking?
I haven't.
Hey, it was just kind of crazy.
Back to his wrestling days.
A little bit.
Christopher Morel is beef. Pete, mark that one. We're saving that.
18 minutes in on my recording.
Okay. No, I did not see the highlights last night.
The other end of I-55.
Well, I've been waiting to hear if old Mason Wynn was going to get called up. We don't have much. We don't have many things to be excited about, but I thought they would call him up.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
They're playing the service. They're going to have to. They're going to play the service time thing. And I was kind of hoping I'll be down in St. Louis this weekend. If you guys, you probably don't remember, maybe I didn't mention it. I'm moving the boy into college on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So flying into St. Louis on Saturday. Going to take him to a day game. To watch the Mets, although he was there tonight. He won't say no to a game, so we'll just go ahead and take one in. I tell you, the resale on St. Louis tickets right now is
not good.
Pretty fucking ridiculous. Now, does the front office care? They do. Now, they've already sold those tickets at full retail, right? Like long ago. The resale, though, guys, you can get, 9 to 13 rows up behind home plate for about $23-25. It is pretty fucking incredible. No, go to SeatGeek and look at it. It's just, that's how much people that these season ticket holders are like, you know what? I'm just going to offload these because I'm not going to make the 2-hour, 3-hour drive because, St. Louis is a regional thing. Really. It's not about the people that live in the city. It's about people that live around it, right, on the other side of the river. And, when they're,
oh my God,
it's
Saturday, 6:15 p.m. Mets at Cardinals. Tickets from $3.
Yeah, that's where they start.
Oh my
God, that's upper deck shit. And then when you go down just behind the plate, guys,
but still, it's $3. you're going to spend more on a single beer than you're going to spend on your seat.
Mm-hmm.
And
amazing.
Given that fact,
you me put it more
$3 to get in the gate, and by the third inning, you're going to be sitting down in the lower bowl.
I'll tell you how it is on Sunday though. But a year ago, 2 years ago, I've bought very similar seats, and I'm paying like $100 to $140 just to get in the lower bowl somewhere within the dugout to behind home plate. It's always a pretty expensive seat there, especially on a weekend, right? So it's
what would you say, like $250 for like behind home plate?
Because I only go
lower bowl area.
Yeah, well, because I live here, right? And I can't jump on a train or drive a couple hours. I mean, I only go like once or twice a year tops, right? Usually it's one game a year. I'll splurge a little bit, to sit down lower and get a good seat. I think the most I've ever paid was a game against the Giants, like on a Saturday, and I might have paid maybe $120 or whatever to sit 5-6 rows behind the Cardinals dugout. But yeah, I mean the resale is you can go for next to nothing now. So we got decent seats, but with him, you guys know that you know Braden a little bit, so I like to get in a place where I can put his walking device and everything somewhere nearby. So I usually don't, like lately I haven't been going down that low. I know the sections to buy that have that handy service there, or somewhere where we can put his walking thing where we don't have to he doesn't have to walk down 20 flights of rows to get to the seat and everything. So not that he cares, he'd do it anyway. But anyway, so we're going to the day game on Saturday. I'll get to your question in a second, Pete. Neither of us, I think, are that pumped to watch it or go there. It's Sunday night, 7:30, St. Louis City Park against Austin FC. Front row, close to midfield. It's going to be pretty sweet. I have not been there yet. MLS game. But I tell you, complete opposite of what I just said about Cardinals tickets. Those, we're not even going to discuss it on here because I don't want my wife to ever, not that she ever listens to this podcast, but I don't want her to know. Anyway, so it's a little treat for him. Little treat for him before we send him off to college. Pete, what's going on at the other end of I-55? It's not much, man. It's probably where you guys have been before, and other fans were. Okay, let's see some of these names we've been hearing about here in September. Let's see some newness. Let's see what other guys can do, and finish off the year however you're going to finish it. But let's experiment a little bit and see who and what we have. Is he just fucking yawn while I was talking about
that? Sorry. Apologies.
God.
It kind of came in quick.
It came in out of nowhere, right?
This morning.
Anyway, so Sunday's going to be pretty sweet. What's going on in other end of I-55? A new thing for us. It kind of whatever, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's like going to a movie. The trailer was awesome. The movie sucked. That's what this season's been like.
Oof.
Well, hey, Mo said that they realized that they're going to need like 3 pitchers this offseason. That's all.
I know. I heard that too. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Pretty easy to do, right?
If he thinks you only need 3 pitchers, this is going to happen again next year.
Well, you know what happened recently, right? Like Matt's since mid-July he's been great. One of the best pitchers in the National League. Now that happens from time to time to different pitchers where they have a good stretch for 6 weeks or whatever, but he had been looking pretty good, right? So you could, in theory, think that, if he found something and his stint in the bullpen, fixed anything or fixed confidence or whatever it was, that Michaelis and Matt's as a 4 and 5, hey, okay, we'll roll with that. You still have to find a 1, 2, 3. You still have to find 3, period. Yeah, Pete. I don't think that's happening for 2024.
And that also is counting on Michaelis and Matt's continuing to be effective.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna.
He's on the IL right now.
The sounds of it, his plan is to sign these 3 starters. Not trade for, sign.
He's going to have to trade.
So
he's going to have to trade for what I predict is 2. No, here's what's going to happen, Pete. One of two way. This is going to happen one of two ways. And then there's a third, which none of us will be fucking surprised to hear. Okay? One, they're going to have to trade for one. So he's full of shit, but he's also not going to reveal what he thinks he's going to have to do. Right?
Right. So
he's going to trade for one. He's going to sign 2. Neither are going to be premier. I don't even know if any premier guys are really available. Right? He's going to trade for 2, sign 1, and it's still not going to be a premier arm. It's going to be another Steven Matz, just by a different name.
Well, wait, Shohei Ohtani's coming to St. Louis.
Not coming to St. Louis. Do not put that out there in the universe. Do not put that in front of any potential Gen Z or millennial Cardinals fan out there on X. Please. They're already running with it, man. It is not happening. There's no fucking way. It's just, guys, I know the Ferrari looked pretty cool in the parking lot at your kid's school by the rich dad who owned it. You're not going to be able to buy one. So just keep driving.
Well, speaking of who's going to be on
likely,
the market, I think
likely, Pete, my third one, likely what's going to happen is he trades for 1 or 2 guys we've never heard of, and then they throw a small platoon out there in spring training to see who can fight for the 5 positions. That, I think, is likely what you're going to see. Well, we've got, and just like last year, like we went into spring training this year. Well, we've got 6 pitchers. Oh, he's going to come in next. Well, we had 6 last year. We've got 8 this year. And they're going to be names like Dakota Hudson, Jake Woodford, Zach Thompson, Matthew Libator, Steven Matz. I'm blanking on the other name. Miles Michaelis. And then the 2 he trades for, who we've never heard of. He's going to say, we've got 8. We've got a lot of depth, guys. Nothing to worry about here.
Ron, you don't seem to be inspired and having a lot of confidence on this plan.
We've seen this season before. We're watching a rerun, dude. I don't know. I'm really going to have to be proven. I'm going to have to. It's totally in the mode of see it to believe it type of thing. Like if he's going to go out there and sign a top arm, who's available, by the way?
Well, it's increasingly looking like Marcus Stroman is not.
Yeah.
Okay. So take him off.
I think he's going to exercise his player
with his injury. He's probably
he's not going to have enough time to reestablish his market. I mean, he's been terrible since London.
Yep. Take him off the table. Injured. Who else? I hear you. He is going to do that because he's had an injury. He is going to do that. So let's call it what it is, right?
Here's your free agents: Clayton Kershaw, Jin Ryu, Charlie Morton, Martin Perez, Lance Lynn, Wainwright, Eduardo Rodriguez, Julio Urias, Kyle Hendricks, free agent.
Yeah, that's right.
Noah Syndergaard, Ross Stripling, Andrew Haney, Alex Wood, Zach Greinke. Ooh, there's a guy for you. You can get Zach Greinke.
I think if I
he's not left-handed.
That's true. That's one strike against him. The other one is I'm pretty sure that St. Louis has permanently been on his no trade list like for his whole career. He ain't coming. He ain't coming to St. Louis.
Mike Clevenger, Carlos Carrasco, Aaron Nola, Lucas Giolito, Sonny Gray, Blake Snell, Luis Severino, Kyle Gibson, Alex Cobb, Jordan Montgomery, James Paxton,
Jack Flaherty,
Marquez, Johnny Cueto, Rich Hill.
There's your candidate.
He's not done yet.
I haven't given up hope.
He's not done yet.
I have not given up hope. Is he the Jamie Moyer of our generation? I think he has to be, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know what? Here's part of the problem there, Elliot. You started swimming in the wrong end of the pool, right? You started up in the $20 million range.
I should have started at the bottom.
Well, you should have started at about the $10 million range and then worked your way down.
Yeah.
There. Kenta Maeda.
Blake Snell.
There you go. Danny Duffy. There's a lefty for you.
Well.
Dallas Keuchel.
So there's no Dallas Keuchel.
Jordan Montgomery's a UFA.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just traded
him back.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, I guess it's an okay list. Like if you threw depth at it, you've loaded up a team with 3 through 5 starters, right? Like on that list, really. So there's some out there, I guess. So maybe he does sign 2. Maybe he shocks the world. I don't know.
Yeah, but they're going to be. I think you're right, Ron. They're going to be exactly what you think. He's not going to shop in the deep end of the pool. He's going to go in that mid-market range, and
he's going to
say, "Well, we've got 8 pitchers."
He's going to He's going to swim in the Jeff Suppan pool. Like his now, I say that as a joke. Jeff Suppan actually had a pretty nice career as a Cardinal, but we also had Dave Duncan as pitching coach during that time. So I'd take that. I'd take that these days, but you would never have Jeff Suppan headlining a rotation. So not many headliners out there, and I don't think what's left of Clayton Kershaw, although he's having a nice year.
Yeah.
So Ron, who's lining up to start
opening day?
The game you guys are. No, the game that you guys are going to be.
I haven't even looked, so I don't care. I seriously don't know. It's not Wainwright. He pitched tonight, and he actually didn't do bad. 6 innings, 3 runs. That's a quality start. We'll take it. Boy, he's really embarrassed himself though. The last 3 starts. I mean, it's been awful. It's been awful. You hate to see a guy go out like that, but damn, you can't help but to look at it and go, "Oh, buddy, you should have." And you got to think somewhere down in there, he's like, "Yeah, that would have been better." But
is he at 198 right now for wins?
Is that
what he's at?
I think that's been the. I'm not sure that milestone. I don't know what that milestone means to him. It's not like I know him personally or anything, but I'm sure it'd be a nice thing to reach. But it's.
I think it fed a lot into his decision to come back.
Yeah, it could have, I guess.
Try to get the 200th win and then call it.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, for pitchers, that's a pretty big milestone. So
yeah.
Well, now it is.
Yeah, it's
shit. 6 innings is a milestone.
300, like
making a 6-inning start is a milestone in Major League Baseball these days.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I like how the Iron Man tag. I like how the Iron Man bar has been lowered over like within our generation, right? Within our generation of watching this shit happen. The
200 innings now is insane for a pitcher.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Somebody goes over 200, like, whoa.
And that's crazy too, because you look at like 2016 when you had Lester and Hendricks and escaping me right now. They all Arrieta all threw 200 innings that season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's if you have 3 or more pitchers on a staff, be able to do that these days. I mean, you got like the Braves staff, right? Like it's
yeah.
How do you
say
do
Lackey even threw like 175 or 180 that season too.
Last year, 8 pitchers broke 200.
God, that is fucking crazy. And you got to think, guys, is it really? I mean, who knows? Like, none of us are in a dugout in an organization. None of us are trainers. Like, we don't know. We sit where we sit and we read what we're given, right? But you got to think, like, think of 90s Jack Morris or guys like that. Like, even Clemens when he was young. Like
Fergie Jenkins, man. Like,
if Clemens or Jack Morris, Fergie Jenkins or fucking Bob Gibson, he pitched with a broken leg one game. Today they'd be out for 4.5 years. Like
20 years ago, Randy Johnson led the majors with 260 innings.
Jesus.
The top 10.
Was it the same year he killed that bird?
It might have been. The top 10 ended with Barry Zito at 229 and a third, which means that there were even more who broke 200 innings. And now you get 8.
You can't, like, it's just like batting average, guys, Pete. Like, look at that. Look at that stat too. All of these things, like, in when our heyday, there were like 30 guys that were batting over 300. And now you've got like 10, 12. Just the game has changed. That's how much the game has changed. And they're monitoring injuries and performance so much that any drop off in any analytic, man, they're bringing that guy in the training room, and Pete's gone. Okay. Is it me, Elliot, or is it Pete?
I think it's Pete because you are still here.
Where was he tonight? Because I didn't recognize his background. Like, is he home or is he like?
I think he's home on his patio.
Is he in prison?
Because it's super nice right now outside out here.
Oh.
It's like probably high 60s right now.
Yeah, high 60s. God damn, what's that feel like?
Yeah, 68, something like that. I mean, it's super nice outside.
All right. Well, his screen's black right now, so I think he's trying to reconnect. But anyway, I guess my point is, the game has changed that much to where things that were common when we were really paying attention to baseball and still collecting baseball cards, like those givens, those stats just don't exist anymore. Oh, there he is. He's back. He's holding his microphone in his bare hand. Where are you?
No, he isn't outside. You in your bedroom? Is that what you said?
I feel like clearing off the table in order to get everything set up.
What's on the table?
Gotcha.
Just a bunch of shit.
Okay.
All right. So I heard you. I think you're absolutely right. But you know what? I think that diminishing those stats doesn't necessarily, I mean, I don't know that necessarily that means that baseball's better, because I'm going to give you, okay? I'm going to give you the top 10 names, and you tell me how many of these guys strike you as being future legends right now for 2022, okay?
Yeah, I like
Alcantara, Nola, Michaelis, Burns, Valdez, Cole, Kelly, Bieber, and Manoah and Perez, okay? That's the top 10 last year in innings pitched.
I'd say Burns and Cole might be the only two.
Okay, now, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is the 2002 top 10.
Yeah.
Johnson, Schilling, Halliday, Burley, Hudson, Cologne, Oswalt, Moyer, Vasquez, and Zito.
Moyer.
But
2002.
All 10 of those names,
Moyer?
right?
Yeah.
All 10 of those names, you know who they are.
Yeah, we all know who they are.
We still remember every one of them.
Yes.
And that's not going to
Jamie Moyer, Cardinal legend.
230 and 2/3 innings that year.
That's
Barry Zito, had a great promising career, and then just
well, he signed the big contract with the Giants, and
damn cliff.
He was still with the A's. I think when Pete read the stat from what year?
2002.
Yeah, he was still with Oakland at that point. Yeah. He, Mark Mulder, and Tim Hudson, right?
That's right. They were supposed to be.
I remember talking to Benji Molina, and he said, Benji Molina said, for some reason, he could hit Randy Johnson really well. For some reason, he saw it really well. But I asked him, who's the toughest pitcher you ever faced? And he's like, it was Tim Hudson. He's like, that guy could have thrown a shoe up there, and I couldn't see it, and I couldn't hit it. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So I like going back. I like going back in our golden era of baseball. It was fun. Now it was full of PEDs, but that made it more fun. We should bring them back.
That's what they want you to think.
That's right.
Whatever.
All right. Nothing else, boys.
I really don't have anything else either. It's I'm looking forward to the weekend, the festivities. I'll let you guys know how that city game is. We're gonna have to have a meetup for a MLS game at some point. All right. I know you guys are into it. I think João Klaus might return. He's been out since April. He was their leader, their high scorer. They've got Edwin Leuven back. I just want to see that combination of Klaus and Gioacchini up front. Ah, man, that'd be sweet.
Are they done playing Miami this year, or do they?
They only played Miami on July 15th, 1 week before the official introduction of Messi. So
Messi.
Yep.
So no chance again this season.
No, I don't think so. I mean, unless of course there's always, their form of the playoffs that they could intersect. But I haven't really paid attention to what Miami's record is after he's joined. I know the League's Cup was pretty exciting for them,
I don't
but
think they've lost.
They said if they continue playing like this, they could be playing for the cup.
There we go. That'd be pretty cool, man.
It just goes to show you just how far away MLS is from being a legitimate.
When you can have one player like that, just literally like take what was the last place team in their Eastern Conference, and yeah.
And you've got a guy who undeniably is on the downslope of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And he steps in and he's immediately the best. Like, could you imagine what would happen? I'm going to throw a name at you. I know you're not going to recognize it, but anybody who's familiar with soccer is going to. If Kylian Mbappe could somehow be enticed to come over.
Plays for France?
Yeah.
Right now?
PSG,
or for the World Cup he did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but he's going to be leaving soon. He's probably going to be going to Real Madrid. He was offered $1 billion deal
oh my
by
God.
a Saudi Arabian club, and he turned it $1 billion for a year. And he turned it down. Anyway,
what?
If he was to come over to the United States and play in the MLS, he'd be completely unstoppable.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I mean, he's already the fastest player in Major League Soccer, and by Major League I mean like real soccer,
well,
not U.S.
I think that when you get players like Messi, even we're on the the downslope of what would be their career, right? I think even when you get guys, I know that Beckham came over, and there's another player too, and the name I can't remember right now. I know they've come over and tried to, they've had a lot of money and everything thrown at them, but I think Messi's a little bit of a game changer in this situation, and I think that that door, maybe it was cracked open for some of these Premier League players or Bundesliga or La Liga, but I think that Messi coming over opens that door a little bit more, and I do think that there is feels like there's a pretty bright future for MLS, and it's still fun to watch, and I've been enjoying it. But
not to sell it short, you're absolutely right, Ron. Messi's not that far off of his prime, right? And he's only a few months removed from having led Argentina to the World Cup.
Right.
That's completely different from when Pele came over and he joined the MISL, and when Beckham came over for MLS. Their careers were already over.
Right.
Yep. They were still among the best players in the league simply because they were already that much
when you get
better than anybody.
And I'm sure every country that's established feels this way, but when you get a player like that provides a jolt and electricity through opposing crowds, that's I think that'll, again, I'll just say it again. I think the door is way more open now to the MLS league growing that much more. They're going to continue adding teams to it too. But anyway, I've enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed anything this year. And I know that, hey, look, I haven't seen a bad St. Louis soccer team yet, so I don't know how I feel when that eventually inevitably happens. So maybe my tone will change a little bit, but I'm really looking forward to seeing the energy level at City Park. And if you hear, if you watch Apple TV, who has the exclusive deal to MLS Pass this year, a lot of those announcers come in. It's like this city has always had a soccer team. That's the atmosphere already. And it's not a lot of seats, man. 22.5, right? And that's why those tickets aren't cheap. But from talking to our friend Tito Rivera when I had him on, just for like 30 minutes cutting in on our show, that's the sentiment he had too. Like it almost feels like this has always been here. So I don't know. I'll let you guys know about it next week, but I'm really looking forward to it. And this is the one thing, Pete, the one sporting event, and my wife only turns on to baseball during playoff time, right? She's very bandwagony, fair weather. I'll watch it when they're, in the playoffs. So she'll watch baseball with me, but we have not missed a soccer game that we were able to watch yet. She's going to be pissed when she knows I'm going to this game, and I still have not had the balls to tell her.
You better tell her before you go.
I don't know that I will.
Just slyly mention it on the way back. Yeah, and then we went.
I don't think there's going to be anything sly about it. I think my bottom lip is going to be trembling, and that's pretty much how it's going to go.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it. She doesn't listen to our show anyway, so she's not going to find out tonight.
So that's a good thing.
All right.
Until this one time.
I think that's it, Pete. Other than that, I think right. Maybe we'll have some Bears talk here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Or I was thinking about gifting him a Disney Plus pass for a month or two, so we can actually talk about it on here. I might still have to do it. Not sure. I'm not sure if he'll do it. I don't want to gift something. It's like giving somebody a gift card and they just put it in a drawer and never use it. I do that all the time. I think he may do that. So I don't know. Debating it, kicking
right.
it around.
You do like I do. How many profiles do you have on your service? So you just add a profile and send him the login information.
And just say MFer, comma,
they're supposed to be.
Yes.
The report that came out in the last week or so says that they're going to be cracking down on password sharing in 2024. In addition to increasing their subscription costs.
Well,
they've already done that.
Yeah, they're going to do it again in October.
Can't wait.
Yep.
Take my money.
Hey, look, we can still talk about Ahsoka. It's not like I won't be able to keep up just because I'm not watching it.
Oh, God, what a dick. I mean, we're just going to have to, we're going to do it.
You're gonna tie me down to a chair, Clockwork Orange style.
And just pry your eyes open.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pry my eyes open.
Bob Iger's fingerprints are all over this.
A lot of people have already seen the first two, like a lot of the critics, and they're saying so far, fantastic.
I don't fucking care what critics have to say. I mean, no, I don't care what they have to say.
Good for them. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to leave a comment and subscribe. And if you want to help spread the word, please give us a 5-star review and tell your friends to do the same. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. And we also occasionally live stream on Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube. Be sure to check out the other Gateway City Sports Network podcasts, including the Derek King Sports Show, That's a Winner podcast, Talking Sports on the Bleachers, 2 for 3, and Yacker Jacks. You can find Elliot on X at
TOR_Elliot.
And you can find Ron at
TOR_Ron75. And I may run into our friend Elle on Sunday if she goes to the Cardinal game. She pinged me. She might go. So maybe we'll get a chance for
get a pick.
A hello in real life. So we'll be in the same time, same place. But Pete, thanks for walking us out. Plan on doing this again next Thursday. I plan on having some exciting updates from our new MLS segment that we're going to introduce to the show. They're not doing it willingly, but I'm going to force it on them. But we'll talk to you next week. Love you all so much. Bye-bye, everyone.